Tanning creams are a thing? Yeah, that's her. I know. Like, mind blown. Be totally transparent on this. When I was first sent the clip, I was sent a quick little short 1-minute clip of Destiny talking about Blackface. And of course, everyone loses their minds because they were like, well, how could he say such things? I have a big problem with the clip culture on the Twitch and on the YouTubes and everything, okay? This happens to Vosh all the time, it happens to Destiny all the time, and it happens to Penis all the time. That's why I penis all the penis, because if I keep penising, no one can clip me out of context. They'll just be like, well, yeah, Lance penis the penis. That's my protection against clipping out of context. It hasn't worked, all right? It seems anytime I facetiously act sarcastically and I try to pretend I'm a character or something like that, it still happens, okay? It still happens. But anyways, going back to this, I want to watch the clip a little bit more in full to get to it, to get to the moment, so we can understand what happened here.
And she looked exactly how you would expect a cute white Disney star to look, and now she looks like this. Now, she hasn't always looked like this in her pop music career. Earlier on in her career, this is her 5th album, Thank You Next. So earlier on in her career, she still had the dark tan, but it was a much softer, more classically feminine presentation.
Okay, this blew my mind. I didn't know Ariana Grande was white. Yeah, this is her. And then what the fuck? Like, is she taking darkening creams? Is that a thing? Has she just tanned herself? Is she taking, like, melanin injections? Like, what is it? Like, what the fuck? Tanning creams are a thing? Yeah, that's her. I know. Like, mind blown.
Ways. I don't care. Is it being used in a racist way right now, or is it being used to call back to like racist things? Well, then that's a problem. But like, this was used for a racist at some point. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care.
Reverse Michael Jackson blackface.
Hey, so I spent on Smash to be honest. Nice job. Morgan says, remember guys, country lawyers call himself Kung Fu Kenny, but the white girl can't wear Chinese dresses to prom. Nice. Okay. So you'd say only if you're doing a character of black people is blackface actually bad? Sure, if you're using a tool to be racist, I don't think any tool in and of itself is necessarily bad or problematic. It depends on the utilization of that tool. So like, for instance, I think it can be incredibly problematic if black people do, whiteface. I think that could be like a problem. If you're like doing it, there's like some weird shit there where it's possible. But I also think it can be like really fucking funny depending on the person doing it. Yeah, I don't know. It just depends, okay? I like Chappelle's white guy impersonation, all right? How would you respond to
I do too. I absolutely love it. It's a thing of consummate beauty. If everyone here hasn't seen it before, let me see if I have it queued up.
Black.
Last I heard.
Wow, I gotta wonder how the blacks are gonna be taking this one.
We the black delegation, except the white delegations, offered to draft Colin Powell on the condition that they also accept Condoleezza Rice as part of the deal.
God damn, I love Mos Def.
We accept. You got yourself a goddamn deal.
Man, yeah, this is like racial humor just done perfectly. Anyone who's like, you can't be racist, or you can't talk about racist, you can't do racial humor, all right? Racial humor just as a genre has no place in society. No, what's the purpose? All right, with all humor, with all jokes, what's the purpose? What's the punchline? What are we trying to achieve? All right, let's get into this very quickly. Have I ever seen blackface that was funny in the modern era? Woke blackface? Is there such a thing? And is it problematic? Are you allowed to do blackface even if you're white, if you're doing it to call out blackface itself? Is that okay? Are you allowed to do this? Tropic Thunders is being brought up. For me, one of the things I thought of that absolutely, slayed me was back in the day watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
We don't need Charlie and Dee to have fun, okay? We can figure out something to do without them. Hey, guys, now might be a good time to do our Lethal Weapon 5 reshoots. Why would we do reshoots on that? That movie was perfect.
Yeah, I was great in it, and my villain was very evil.
Yeah, no, you did a great job, Frank. I'm not talking about that. Your villain was amazing. I'm referring more to the blackface of it all.
What's wrong with the blackface?
Well, I seriously regret switching parts with you halfway through and letting you play Murtaugh in blackface. I feel like it was in very poor taste in retrospect.
I think it was in poor taste that you were doing Murtaugh in whiteface. I mean, for God's sakes, Dennis, what message does that send? A lot of great actors have done blackface.
Oh, you know, there's countless examples of very classy actors doing blackface. Let's see, we've got the great C. Thomas Howell in Soul Man. We've got the Wayans brothers in White Chicks. That was a very tasteful example of reverse blackface.
Okay, those are bad examples, okay? There's tons of good examples of old movies with... Okay. Frank, help me out.
Laurence Olivier in Othello.
Laurence Olivier in Othello, dude. That's like the classiest actor of all time.
Yeah, but I guarantee you there were some black people that were working on that movie that were like, hey, man, what that white man doing? Come on, that ain't right. Get a black man.
Okay, so hold on.
What kind of voice
You're
is
doing
that?
a black voice and that's not racist?
I'm just saying that's how black people talk. That's not racist.
So you would do a black guy with a black voice, but not a black guy with a black face?
I don't have a problem at all with doing a black voice. Doing a black voice, that's just an accurate
I don't understand that, dude.
portrayal.
I'm just saying it's just about doing it tastefully, okay?
Yeah, and you gotta make the lips funny.
Whoa! No.
What?
They have to be funny. The lips
It's not
have
about
to be
funny.
outlined.
About it, right? They're having a discussion, but they went as far as actually doing actual blackface in the same episode, like, you know, full on. Like this is Trudeau levels. This is the full body, all right? This goes down to the knees, all right? This is actual, like, I don't know if it does it go beyond. Is there an expression for black body? Does this? So this has obviously been one that they've come out afterwards. I don't think they air these episodes anymore. They've come out and said, now we understand this is problematic, especially with the whole Black Lives Matter movement that's come out. But why exactly is it different? All right. So this comes down to the big question. Why is it different to do blackface versus whiteface? Why is it okay, perhaps, if if black actors do, white chicks is the example that a lot of people like to turn to. Now, obviously, there's the hierarchical power structure that exists. Systemic racism does not, affect white people the same way it does black people. There's all that. But the history of the use of blackface is very specific. All right, it's especially in America, the history of the minstrel shows, for example. The idea of blackface and the exaggeration of a lot of different features like that was the idea back in the day of othering black people. All right, so of making them seem less than human. And it played into the whole idea of because they were less than human, then we could justify a lot of the horrible fucking shit we were doing to them. And so this carried on. Even there was this character, Jumping Jim Crow. You probably know. Probably of Jim Crow laws, but the idea was, and this idea was exacerbated in all different forms of media, in shows, and books, and literature, where white people were playing black characters, and they were doing it in costumes, usually with the typical black face, exaggerated features, and again, that was to other the idea of blackness, to make them seem less than human. And because of that long history in American cinema, in American theater, and all that, it's why it's highly problematic for people, especially white people, to do it today, even when, in this example, and hey, I'm going to be the first person to say, I laughed. You know, when I saw these episodes, I absolutely laughed. And it wasn't just because I didn't know the history of blackface, but I was like, well, this is okay. They get a pass, right? It's totally fine. They clearly, they're acknowledging what they're doing is wrong. I know, I'm canceling myself in real time. That doesn't mean that anyone can't constantly learn. That's kind of the point of all this, right? Is that, like, yeah, everyone says shit. Everyone does fucked up shit. And then ideally, when you go behind the scenes, you can learn a little bit about that. Or you might read up on it. You might learn why these things are highly problematic. Stuff of that nature, all right? You're not over 1K yet. Why you canceling yourself in real time? But no, let's just be totally transparent. Let's learn about these kind of things. Why exactly? I think this comes down to, and this is a really easy thing, why is it not okay for white people to say the N-word? I mean, it's just a word, right? It's just a sound. It's just sounds coming out of your mouth. Why is it wrong if I say it, but it's totally fine if a black person says it, right? Or why is there a difference in those two things at the end of the day? Why is it not okay to use it in the context of humor? Why is it not okay to use it at home? Why is it not okay to use it when I'm at my house? Clip that. What are you going to clip? What, you know? It feels like Destiny would not object to white people saying the N-word. Here's what it comes down to, because this plays into the exact same thing. The thing that we're talking about when it comes to humor, when it comes to how these things are being utilized or how these things are being used, right? if Destiny says that it's okay for him to say the N-word in private, to say it behind closed doors because he's using it in the context of a joke, right? He usually would bring up the context where it's not as funny if I say a joke and I say, like, you know, what if a blank and a blank and a blank happens, and then I want to drop the N-word in order to give that joke more punch, because it's not as funny if you say, and then the guy screamed the N-word as opposed to saying the actual N-word out loud, right? My argument to this would be, I don't have any desire to police what you do behind closed doors. If you want to go do that, that's fine. I would just say personally for myself, and this was the same thing during the N-word dark, I don't say the N-word, right? I'm not even in private, that kind of stuff. So there's that aspect to it, but I don't want to police your speech. If that's what you want to do, you're totally fine to do that, right? But here's my point, and this comes back to the whiteface and the blackface. If the punchline isn't as funny, if you don't use the N-word, then maybe the joke's not that great.
To our monarch, Thomas Bone, you are the light that guides our path. To our lords, I'm Raph, Stephen, Nine Tails Cosmic Fox, and Hans Josephine, we bow meekly for your pleasure. To our knights of the Round Table, Josh Mickelson, Dylan Bythe, Alexander Thaler, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, Todd Lajeunesse, Clement Schutzkopf, Sky Bear Games, Moss Beast, Political Puppy, Alan R., Andreas Chitoro, Good Poon Hates Cops, That's Solid Poon Then, we salute you. And to all our merchants and farmers, you have our undying loyalty and love.